Everyday Nile came out of two findings from our research. On the role of media in water conflict and cooperation along the Nile River. The first finding, what we discover is that fact, scientific information are important, but if you want to make the difference and convey messages also that speak to a broader and general audience, you cannot separate facts from emotion. So you also need to use a medium like photography. And that's why we involve photojournalists in Everyday Nile.
The mentorship with Laura, but also through Roger, and also the feedback that we had within the sessions from the other journalists really helped us, I think, to develop an idea on storytelling, but also framing, just to really enhance our own photography skills.
And we wanted to try to use social media to build a conversation which is not dialectic, but which is dialogic. And like an orchestra, each one is playing her own instrument. So without losing my identity, I learned how to play with you.
I think for me it was mainly realizing how the Nile really connects so many different countries and people with so many individual stories, but one main character basically. And that was really a fascinating thing to see. This was an opportunity also for not so experienced photographers to join in and to learn, really expand the skill set.
In addition, it enabled me profile myself as not only a conservative photographer, but a conservative photographer focusing on climate change issues.
When I first think about going to Sudan, I was already focusing more on doing my personal project about the Nile. And then the floods happened. And I went after the floods were over, but I photographed the consequences of what happened. And still, luckily, I managed to tell the story in a very, very hard circumstances politically and regarding the climate.
Since the river Nile in Burundi is so small, there is not that much, let's say, knowledge about it, or it's at least not as prominent as the Nile, for example, is in Egypt. So we wanted to go and explore also the country and all the untold stories around it by ourselves, and that's really how the idea came about.
The aim of the photos was to show how there's lack of access of water in South Sudan, especially Juba, where it's becoming an urban place right now and the population is increasing. So that means more people need water. And the only way to get water is through the water trucks.
Coming closer and interacting with the fishermen, who some of them are my relatives and uncles, it enabled me to understand that they no longer used kerosene lamps. They now use solar-charged lights.
And by looking and comparing the different photo stories, we could also create connections among professions, connections among different water users, connections also among different countries.
The nice thing about photography is that everyone can interpret their own stories into it. So unlike with text, where you often have an interpretation or a result already given, photography, it gives you space to let your mind wander, basically.
When you do photo stories, a series of 10 photos to 15 stories, it helps define the story not only to those who are visual, but also to those who can be able to appreciate the issues from a visual perspective, and then coupled up with the captions, it really helps in telling the story.
على الرغم ان هي ممكن تكون الكاميرا جماد، بس في اوقات كتير بتقدر توصل اللي الناس ما بيوصلوهوش لبعض، وبتقدر تتكلم وتحسسنا بمشاعر. ف... فده أنا فعلا اللي حسيت بيه بعد ما خلصت المشروع.
Moi, je pense que l'image, elle est forte pour raconter des histoires parce que au moins quelqu'un qui voit l'image, il s'identifie directement au personnage en fait. Donc c'est un moyen vraiment bien et fort pour transmettre des émotions.
People connect by seeing things that they never see before, knowing things that they didn't know before, and seeing things that is similar to their community, to their society. And this is two ways of connecting.
I think we saw a lot of surprise in terms of getting to know each other, getting to know the Nile, the river, and the use of Nile water in different countries.
I've really enjoyed it, and I think the biggest takeaway for me is to also try and continue this cross-border collaboration, to really stay in touch with the different journalists, and to continue also getting my own personal inspiration from this group of very amazing, talented photographers.
So what's next? I think why we're doing this, and we are trying somehow to transform also the narratives about the Nile, to transform the conflict and to which often occurs around the sharing of Nile waters, and we are trying to imagine different alternative solutions to the problem.